everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Glory Glory Man United podcast. And as you can tell by the sound of my voice, it's not going to be a cheery podcast this evening. Manchester United have lost 3-1 to Brentford in another humiliating defeat for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. Nobody covered themselves in glory today, apart from maybe Benjamin Sesko, which is the tiniest of consolations. So joining me today is Brish, who's back after a little break. How's it going, mate?
The way it's going, we're gonna have to rename this podcast, Garth. There's no glory at United anymore.
Yeah, I remember when we used to complain when Woodward was at the helm, Solskjaer was manager, and we finished in second place, and we used to think that was shite. You
Yeah.
compare that to now, it's like night and day.
Ah, mate, when we're looking at the fixture list now, we don't know where 3 points are coming from.
Yeah,
Um,
we have
yeah,
become a charity club. You know,
absolutely. It's from bad to worse, isn't it? I think last time I spoke to you, we looked at the fixture list and I thought, oh, maybe Sunderland might be the only 3 points I can see in the next couple of weeks. And then, we were fortunate to get the
and
points against
mhm,
Chelsea. We were in total control, and then we messed up and made it difficult for ourselves as well because we could never do things the easy way. And then this is it's terrible from start to finish today.
I'm sorry, but looking at the way Sunderland are playing, I can easily see that being a defeat as well.
Yeah, the
I
way
know we're at
Sunderland, yeah,
home.
Sunderland are flying
Yeah,
high. They've
yeah,
they've taken to the Premier League like a duck to water. They brought in a lot of signings, some experience as well. Granit Xhaka looks a really tidy signing for them.
yeah. They're currently winning away at Forest, and they're unbeaten at home since they returned to the Premier League. 2 wins and a draw
Yeah,
there, and now they're winning away from home against Forest. So the way United are playing, Sunderland could well come to Old Trafford and win, and they'll fancy it. They're not going to have any fear, like, are they? Let's be honest.
nah,
No
absolutely
one.
not. There's nothing to fear, to be honest.
Um. So let's pick apart today's absolute fiasco.
Ah,
Um. Now I have to really question Amorim's tactical setup on his selections. Now,
hmm
looking at the first goal, they're playing a high line, and if you're going to play a high line, uh, why would you select the slowest possible back three that he has at his
yeah,
disposal?
yeah. You've got old men in Shaw and Maguire there.
And Maguire tries to step out to
hmm
play the offside trap. He's too late. Um, Thiago is onside, and Maguire can get nowhere near him because he's so slow. And then Bayendier, rather than he's like as Thiago enters the penalty area, Bayendier is still rooted to his line. What the hell is
Yeah,
he doing?
yeah. A
Like,
very Jekyll and Hyde performance from Bayern did today because there was one or two saves I was actually impressed with. I was like, oh, that's quite nice. But
yeah,
then,
but
yeah, things like this is bread
yeah,
and butter, isn't it? Really, just
yeah,
no
yeah,
awareness.
yeah, yeah. He made a few saves.
Yeah,
Some of them were straight at him, to be fair.
yeah,
But
yeah. That, yeah.
he actually could be faulted for all three goals, and we'll get
Mm,
into that. Um, But yeah, like he's not going to save that shot from Thiago, but you have to come out and close down the angle. You can't
yeah,
just be rooted to
definitely,
your line.
definitely. You can't just be rooting to your line. It's insane.
Mhm. Uh, and then the second goal is just an absolute calamity of errors. Like
Yeah.
I just seen like a reverse angle of it, and Diogo Dallo again completely abandons his position.
hmm
Whenever the ball's played in behind, he runs towards the central area
Yeah.
and leaves the freedom of the pitch for the left winger. He pulls it back. Maguire's unable to cut out the cross, and then the shot comes in, and Bayern gets a weak hand to it, and it
Yeah.
just it fumbles over the line.
Calamity of errors there, isn't it? Like from defense as well. Obviously, nobody's there to block the shot coming across, and then everyone else is ball watching, and you're not picking up your man. And then yeah, a better keeper, does better as well, and it doesn't lead to that. So yeah, all of it from start to finish, just an absolute mess, really.
Yeah, and had to criticise the Lictor as well for not
hmm
winning the initial header. And then yeah, it's an absolute calamity. They're all at fault there, really.
hmm
Um, and then the third goal. What the hell is going on there from Bayern? I mean, it's a fantastically struck shot,
He's straight
but it's
at him.
straight.
At first, I thought, you know what, a finish. And then I saw the replay and I was like, oh, bloody hell, it's on all over, isn't it?
Yeah, he he gets a lot of power behind the effort, and
Yeah.
but it's pure central. It's not as if it was left or right, and so it's a shot that goes into the central top of the net, and yet somehow Deer doesn't even get close to making a save. It is just absolutely absurd.
And
I
when you
mean,
see his positioning, he's well positioned as well to deal with it, really.
yeah, uh, the guy just doesn't belong at this level. I'm sorry.
He's
Uh,
a backup in it, so that's what I mean. He's a backup goalkeeper. That's why I'm not too harsh on him because I know what he is. It's us that are the
yeah,
fools for using him wrong.
it's Almarim's at fault.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
what you mean?
yeah, yeah. He's not a starting goalkeeper.
Yeah. And then so we're analysing Almarim here. Uh,
Yep.
the the high line back three who are all slow,
Mhm.
and then which is just absolutely crazy when you have Laniero available to you,
Yep.
who's
Yep.
extremely quick, and then he continues to select Deer, and being so stubborn about that,
Mhm.
and then we see the how he's so rigid and stuck to the formation again. Even when he made all five subs, I think most of them attacking subs, and rather than just go to a 4-3-3 when you're chasing the game,
Mhm.
he plays Mason Mount at left wing back again, as we
Yep.
saw against
Yep.
Grimsby.
And he made kind of like for like changes again, Carl. The first two changes I'm seeing, Ugarte coming off for Kobe and Euro coming off for Maguire. And I'm just thinking, why? Like, you're chasing a game, you're 2-1 down. Just go to a flat back four. Try and add another man in midfield and go to a fluid 4-3-3, or bring on Xerxes. You know, have a bit about yourself. I don't understand this like for like stuff when we're losing as well. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, if your starting point is always the 3-4-2-1, fair enough. But you have to be willing to change it in games.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. You have to be adaptable according to the situation. I don't understand it. And also, surely we've seen enough now to know that there is no two-man midfield that works with Bruno. Like that experiment is done and dusted. There's no way to make it work. You can't play
hell
to our
no.
strengths. Yeah, and this is why I was so critical of the summer transfer window because it made no sense to me. Wasting all of this money on a front line and then the rest of the squad is exactly the same. You could even make the argument that he's weaker on paper because you now promoted our backup goalkeeper to number one.
I know. Uh, and he just seems completely unwilling to give
Yep.
Lamens his debut.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm just absolutely. I cannot take this anymore. I can't sit and watch this for another 10 weeks or whatever it's going to be before he gets sacked. I
Yeah.
just cannot take it. Because this is just absolute garbage. We're going backwards. Um, you know, we used to moan and complain about finishing eighth and winning the FA Cup. We used to moan and complain about finishing second, miles behind Man City. Well, all of those scenarios are 100% better than what we're watching now. We're now becoming relegation fodder. Every like how many teams now under Amram who are either average or really poor just get a handy 3 points against United. I mean,
Yep.
another damning statistic is that like we've just seen West Ham sack their manager and bring in Nuno.
Hmm.
Since Amram took charge of United, West Ham have accumulated more points than Manchester United.
Hmm.
Yet they have decided that their manager isn't good enough, and they made the change. And just to come to a point that Phil Bryan from Beyond the Pitch made on Twitter earlier, he's been a regular guest in the show. He says that if Amorim was not an NAS appointment, he would have been sacked long ago. He is only still there because he is their guy.
And obviously, the compensation fee we
Mm.
paid as well to get him here is quite significant. And obviously, I don't know, they might be looking at the compensation you have to pay to Amarim as well to get rid of him, maybe.
Yeah, supposedly. and this will be a disgrace if this is what they're waiting on. Supposedly, once he gets to the year mark of being in charge, then the
Mm.
compensation will significantly reduce if
That's
you
probably
sack
what
him.
they're waiting on then. Probably. But I mean, me and you were speaking a couple of weeks ago, and we said, you know what, the way this is going, he'll be lucky to make it past the second international break. And that's historically, we have a tendency to sack managers around that time. So that's kind of where I saw it coming to an end.
Uh, I don't fancy but I don't fancy your chances against Sunderland, to be honest. The way things are going. Um,
Yeah, and they're leading right now as well.
yeah, and as you said, we only beat Chelsea because we were down to 10 men.
Yeah, yeah. And then do you know what? I was so pissed off watching that game because literally when we took the 2-goal lead, I was thinking to myself, the only way we could possibly fluff this up is if we go down to 10. And lo and behold, that's what happened.
Well, that's another point about Amorim that I was making
Mm.
last week, is that like we know Casemiro's history of getting
Yeah,
second yellows, getting sent off.
yeah,
When he scored that goal, make it 2
yeah.
0 just take him off right there
Or,
and
or,
then.
or,
Get him
or
off.
just or have a word with him. Tell him, listen, there's no need because obviously it's a contentious decision, right? There is another way the referee could have dealt with it, but don't give the referee the decision in the first place. You're a very experienced player. You've done it at the top of the top. Like you should know better. And it's pissing down with rain. You know you're going to slip about and stuff as well. There's no need for it. And we were absolutely in control, total control. And then it goes to 10, and then obviously at some point we knew we'd concede and we did, and it just makes for a very shaky end to the game, and it didn't need to be that way.
Um, yeah, it's yeah. United can never do anything the easy way, even when they win.
Hmm.
But today it was another step backwards. Another failed attempt at trying to win back-to-back games with which Amram is yet
Yeah,
to achieve at
which
this club.
which is a disgrace in itself. It's a disgrace.
Yeah. Um, and it was, I just seen the record again that he has 33 Premier League games and only 9 wins
Yep,
and 17 defeats.
yep.
Uh, we're back to the -4 goal difference again.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Post Ferguson, he's the worst manager by far, and that's including David Moyes and all of them.
he might even be the best, the best at what? He might even be the worst manager of all time at United. You know,
Ah,
I,
mm,
I actually seen some statistics last week. I think it was before the Chelsea game, and in terms of the win ratio or the win
yeah.
percentage, he is right down there at the bottom in
Hmm.
terms of United managers since the Second
Hmm.
World War.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
mm. Yeah. I mean, the likes of Ron Atkinson, um, um, Mourinho, Solskjaer, Ten Hag, they were sacked for much less than this.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
we are
I
watching.
mean, listen, LVG won an FA Cup and got
Uh,
sacked.
yeah, because we finished fifth.
Yeah,
If we
yeah,
finish fifth this season, we'd be
yeah,
elated.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a pipe dream,
You know?
you know.
So I have to get to another point, which is becoming a
Hmm.
concern, and it might take us back to our discussion in the summer about we should have taken the money from the Saudi clubs,
Absolutely, we should have.
uh,
Absolutely, he's
and
31 years old. It makes no sense. Pal. You can't build around him.
and he's now uncharacteristically he's now starting to miss penalties on a regular basis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing. Close succession, I would say. Once you miss two penalties like this, surely now you have to rotate your taker. It has to be a different penalty taker. You can't just stick with him. Surely,
Yeah,
you got to
that's
give somebody else a try. I know Mboma was on pens last year for Brentford, so you've already got another option there.
yeah he's missed 2 penalties in a month now. He can't be
Hmm.
doing that.
Yeah, yeah, and psychologically as well, and it's good for all parties if we take him out the firing line, because otherwise the next one, all eyes are going to be on him, and it's just unnecessary added pressure, really.
What game was it he missed again? Was it the Fulham match where he missed a penalty?
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah,
missed at Fulham,
yeah.
then scored at Grimsby.
Okay. Um, Yeah, he scored twice in the shootout against Grimsby,
Hmm.
didn't he? Not actually during the game, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's just unacceptable. For him to miss that penalty, and another thing we have to come to is that that should have been a red card as well.
Oh, absolutely, that should have been a red. How it wasn't, the mind boggles.
I mean, so the explanation that the referee gave to Amarim was that Mbeumo wasn't in control of the football. He wasn't in control of the football because he's been dragged back by
Hmm.
Nathan Collins. And I not often agree with Michael Owen, but even he said it should have been a red card, because he clearly was denying. Like, here's what Michael Owen said.
Yeah, and how can he be in control of the ball if he's been yanked and taken down as the ball's coming to him? It makes no
No,
sense. It literally is just the moment of the ball and the goalkeeper. It's a clear chance, obviously. Yeah, it should have been a straight red.
yeah, that comes back to the fact that the referees, um, they, they, they behave like they've never played the game. They don't understand the game. What are they even on about
Yeah,
by saying
it's
he?
elite nonsense. Fair enough, we missed the penalty, but then still, that decision has had an impact on the game because they should be down to 10 men. And do they push on and get that third goal if they have 10 men? Fine margins.
So as Michael Owen says, what part of this isn't a denial of a goal scoring opportunity? He's about to stretch and score. He's about to have a clear opportunity. That is an absolute goal scoring opportunity. It should be a red card. And it's the first time in my life that I agree with Michael Owen. I
Yeah, I
just
wholeheartedly agree as well.
um but funny enough, there was a contentious decision that went against Man United in Ten Hag's last game, and he was dismissed on the Monday morning. So I wonder if something similar going to happen here. But yeah, if Bruno scores the penalty and they're down to 10 men, then there's a good chance we go on to win it from there. But neither of those things happened, and then we go on to concede another goal, and it looks like a thumping, really, 3-1. And to be honest, we wouldn't have deserved it because we were shite from start to finish in that game. And how we started off the game was like an amateur league team. It was absolutely appalling. There were sixes and sevens at the back, and
And more damning statistics, Carl. I think we picked up 1 point in the last 4 visits to Brentford.
yeah, I had been saying in the run up to the game that we don't have a good record at that ground. Uh,
Terrible, terrible. I mean, the one that always sticks in my mind is when we were
4-0.
there with the Illumina screen kit, yeah, under Ten Hag, where we held 4 at half time.
Um, yeah, I think our only win there was our first visit when
Yeah.
Ranić was the manager and Ronaldo was playing, when we were playing in the blue kit with the yellow shorts and socks. That feels like a long time ago now because the amount of times that we have been embarrassed at this ground. And then there was the time that Mason Mount scored in injury time, an apparent winner, and somehow we that was like 90 plus 7, and then we conceded in 90 plus 11, and somehow didn't win the game after scoring that late on. So yeah, the record at Brentford is pretty appalling. Of course, last season we lost 4-3 there, in a heavily rotated team because of the Europa
Hmm.
League. But yeah, not many players covered themselves in glory today, apart from maybe Shesko. That's a wee glimmer
Yeah.
of hope there. Um, so Ugarte burst down the middle, and like that's a good play from Ugarte for a change. Then he overhits the pass to Dorgu, who
Hmm.
then is forced to play a looping cross because it's going to go out for a corner. And then Callagher, under pressure from Mbumo, flaps at it. Then Shesko has a header saved by Gallagher. Then he has another go with his foot. It's saved by Gallagher, and then he lashes it in with his left foot. So persistence there from the number 9. And I thought overall he had a good game. He was coming deep, receiving the ball, holding it up well, bringing other players into play, and you definitely could not fault him for what happened today. And
Hmm.
it's good to see our number 9 making some progress.
Yeah, definitely. Poacher's instinct as well. Never say die attitude, which led to his goal as well. So it's nice to have somebody like that who's relentless, who just wants to find the back of the net, something that we've been missing for a long, long time.
Yeah, so he made the most of the service that he did get, but
Yeah,
there wasn't an awful lot of
but
that.
there's not enough service, is there? That's another issue. Like you've got a guy with a massive leap who's 6'5" in the box now, and you're not finding him. That's an issue.
Yeah, I seen another cross went over his head again,
Hmm.
despite the fact that he was leaping,
And
miles
despite
into.
the fact he's 6'5" and has a huge leap, like wow, how are you guys missing him?
You know, yeah, I can't remember who put the cross in. Was it Mbumo? Um, when
Oh, and Bemo's crossing today was atrocious.
Yeah, it was really poor, wasn't it?
Like I've seen better crossing from Anthony, and that's saying something.
A lot of them went straight into Gallagher's hands,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
there was
terrible.
one that was so high that Sesko jumped. All 6'5" was free him, jumped in the air like Ronaldo and still couldn't reach it.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then Dorgu tried to slide into the back post, but even it got away from him as well. It was just
Hmm.
it was atrocious crossing really. Um, but yeah, the manager's selections in terms of the back three really have to be questioned now. He's played them
Yep.
2 games in a row, and as I say, you can't play a high line when you're playing your slowest back three possible. You're leaving out Lenny Yoro. What has he done wrong to deserve this? I know he got beaten in the air for Trevor Chalobah's
At
goal.
Chelsea, yeah, but it happens, man. He's a young centre back. Like, these things happen. People switch off.
I think he's playing the biggest, most imposing centre halves because of the long throws that
Hmm.
Brentford are notorious for. They become the new Stoke with these long
Hmm.
throws. But you can't play a high line with with slow centre halves. You just
Hmm.
can't. And continually selecting that goalkeeper is just asking for trouble. I mean,
Very much
yes, he
so.
made a couple of decent saves, and he made one really good save in particular when it at 2-1 in the second half. You get down low to push it out for a corner, but he's always got a mistake in him, and
Yeah.
he doesn't do the basics very well. And not even coming off his line to close down a forward. A The second one, he gets a hand to it and he can't keep it out. And then the third one, it's a shot straight down the middle and it goes through him and into the net. It's just, it's almost laughable. And then what's even more laughable is when the manager in his post-match interviews, which I actually get bored of
Hmm.
after about 10 seconds now.
Mm.
He says that they're playing well in training. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who
Who
cares?
cares about training?
It doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
It
If
doesn't
it doesn't
matter.
translate, if it doesn't translate into actual games, then who actually cares?
It's yeah. He needs to be put out of his misery because
Yeah.
like we have nothing personal against the guy. This is not a
And the thing is,
vendetta.
Kyle, if we're honest as well, like you said, even with some of Bayern dear saves, it was straight at him. It could have been a lot worse today.
Yeah,
That one ball where Kevin Shade got it on the left, and then it was a fantastic. He really got robbed of an assist. I think it might have been Katara that hit the ball just on the edge of the 20-yard box. It was straight at Bayern there. He had the entire goal to pick out, and he went straight. But yeah, what a ball in again, and on another day, that's a certain goal. Yeah, yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
it conceivably could have been 6-1. That's how
Yeah,
poor we were.
yeah. And we just don't create enough. We don't, even down the other end, I wasn't seeing clear cut chances like that. And Burma had one shot that went really far wide. Yeah, there's just not much there to work with, really.
No, not at all. There definitely wasn't.
Yeah, and then Mason Mount comes on, and then yeah, I'm thinking, oh, geez, here we go. What, left wing back again? Yeah, ah,
Why? Why?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Because I was trying to figure out what the formation was for the last 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's gonna be nonsense. I could have
yeah,
understood if you wanted to bring Mace on a bit earlier on. If you wanted to bring him on to make a change, I would have loved to have seen one of the centre halves come off and then go to three in the midfield
yeah.
and see what happens.
He's, his last three subs weren't like for
Hmm.
like, yet somehow it was still the same system.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
somehow, yeah, it still ended up, yeah, yeah.
um, eh, as I said, the only reason he's still here is There's one because of the compensation. 12 million apparently it will cost in the first year that he's in charge, and two is because he's their appointment and they will have to admit their own mistake. Now, as I said earlier, things were like we used to complain when Woodward was the CEO and Solskjaer was the manager. We used to
Yep.
think that was bad.
Yep.
You know, Ineos have made the
We
club
did.
10,
We didn't think it could get worse after
you
Woodward.
know, Ineos have actually made us worse, a lot worse. And we were warned about this. Nice fans even warned us about this.
Hmm.
They don't have a good record in any sport.
Nope.
They even Mercedes were dominating Formula One. Ineos buy a stake in Mercedes and they go to pot.
Mercedes have gone down the
Yeah,
drain.
yeah, and it's just not working. Someone was saying to me earlier, a fellow United fan, and we were talking about um who's to blame and all that there sort of thing. And he was saying, let me find it here. Um, I can't find it. Um, Brick's sake, when you're looking to find something, you can never find it when you're live on air. It's really frustrating that. Um, where is it? Anyway, I'll move on and talk about something else. Um, so when do you think it'll happen? Do you think they'll give him the Sunderland game, or do you think it might be Monday morning?
I'm not sure because I think it'll be after Sunderland. I think that international break is usually when it's done. But yeah, then again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's before. Uh,
Um,
but I do think they'll give him. When does it become 1 year officially? Is it in November? Is it?
yeah, because if you remember, he waited until the November internationals before he took over.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
though Ten Hag had been sacked long before that,
Hmm.
Van
Hmm.
Nistelrooy got about 4 games. You remember?
Yeah,
Two of them
yeah.
were against Leicester.
So yeah, it would be in November. Yeah, even that is it's looking unlikely now. But if you if you might be onto something in terms of the amount of compensation. If that's the case, then that's the international break that they'll be waiting until. Depends who's out there as well, I guess. But I'm fully expecting if he goes like for the rest of the season, we'll just get one of the old boys in, be it Carrick or Van Nistelrooy or someone, maybe Fletcher and somebody else.
Only if it's for like one game or something. That's
Yeah,
that's not a solution. Um, yeah,
Ollie's a free agent. Could you imagine if they bring him in as interim?
they'll not do that because they're. I heard them saying that they weren't going to repeat the mistakes of the previous regime. Well, you might not be repeating the mistakes, but you're creating new mistakes. That's for sure. You're you're finding new ways to lose. Um, yeah. So Chris was saying to me earlier, um, I was saying about Oliver Glasner, and I suppose we'll get on to that now. That Palace are now 18 games unbeaten. He plays the same system as Amorim, but he's getting more out of his players.
Hmm.
They've just beaten Liverpool. They're now second in the league, despite losing their best players to Arsenal and Bayern. We should definitely take a look at this manager at some point in the future. And Chris said we could do a lot worse. I still think the board have a dilemma. Do we bin the system, bin the manager, or bin both and start again? And I said, how about the board bin themselves? Because and he says, now you're talking because they have 100% made us worse because we were mediocre before. Now we're relegation fodder. You know,
Hmm.
you like we got lucky last season that the bottom the promoted teams were that bad. We don't have that cushion anymore because Sunderland are playing well and Leeds are okay as well. So and there's no longer that guarantee that we'll stay up. Can't believe even having this conversation, but nothing has changed. This is the same drivel as last season, isn't it, Brush?
Yeah, absolutely. Same. Yeah, same-ish, different day.
And it's difficult to know. where we go from here. Uh, the, you can't, as Amram said himself, you can't sack 22 players. You have to change the man, as he put it, and that's himself. So I just, for for the sake of the club and the fans, there's no point in continuing with this any longer. But we have a theory, obviously, that they'll wait until November so they don't have to pay him as much. Um, but then they've squandered millions upon millions, and with what they did with Dan Ashworth, for example, you know, sacking Ten Hag and his coaches and then bringing Amrima as coaches. So they're not adverse to wasting money. So why not waste another 12 million? Because you've done plenty of it already. Um, it's just absolutely depressing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, you just don't really know where you go from here. Really, there's no sense of direction.
So what would you do? Um, if you're bringing in like Luis Enrique is totally off the table for now.
Yeah.
That's um. So would you go with an Areola and change it to 4-3-3, or would you go with a Glasner and see what he can get out of this team with the same formation?
I'd probably go more with that Areola. I prefer more conventional, standard systems, and he plays good football. But I think this club, unfortunately, would swallow him alive. So it's one of those.
He's never managed a big club before,
He's
that's
never
true.
managed a big club. Yeah, he's up and coming. So that's the problem with Areola. But yeah, I do like him. Um, for a club of our size, I feel that you probably have to go get someone who's had a bit more experience, not maybe age wise per se, but just experience in the game. But that's what I mean. I think if we sack him now, I think I see an interim coming until the end of the season, and then you'd have to shortlist the proper successor. And I'd be probably looking at somebody like a Julian Nagelsmann, who's quite young. I know he's signed on with Germany and whatnot, but that's a job that he can go back to in future. Surely somebody of his age would want to get back into club management.
That's too far away. I
Mm,
can't take this garbage for another. We're only 5 games into 5 or 6 games into the season. Like,
yeah. Glasner, I think, would be setting him up for failure as well. I think we have to keep in mind, as successful as he's been, it's at Palace. I don't think it translates the same just because of the formation at United, and he'll be
yeah,
under pressure as well.
one point to make is that we don't have the players for that system
Yeah, yeah.
somehow. After
After spending over 200 million in the summer,
mm,
so yeah.
so like if you want to, yes, Amorim is to blame for a lot of this,
Hmm.
but the likes of Wilcox and Barada or and Jim Ratcliffe are equally as much to blame, if not more so, because I mean, you hired a manager who plays a wing back system, and you didn't
Yep.
sign any wing backs. What are you
Yep.
expecting?
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, I mean, for it's collective blame for me. Like, and we discussed this in the summer, didn't we, Carl? We were like, yeah, if we, why there's no emphasis on wingbacks in a wingback, centered system is mind-boggling to me. And anytime I've questioned it, people have just told me, "Oh, well, if you watched Amarim Sporting, he likes to convert wingers into wingbacks." So again, if the man can't see that he needs specialist wingbacks in his own formation, then I don't know what to tell you.
I know.
And
Sure.
this is why I was crying out for just anyone in the summer. There was a whole bunch that went from the Fringpongs to even Denzel Dumfries for about 2 weeks in the window
Yeah.
had like a £21 million release clause, which would have fitted into our budget. And yes, he has his flaws as well, but he would have, been better than anything we have.
Like, surely the manager had to be demanding wing backs in the summer.
Yeah, yeah, and Dorgu as well. That was one that baffled us at the time. Surely you want one with a bit more experience. Or if he's the understudy, then fair enough. But you've made him the main man at 20 years old, and the understudy is 18. Make it make sense.
Sorry, Durgu is the wrong profile at the wrong club at
Yeah,
the wrong time.
yeah, he is, and he's a utility man, isn't he? Like, yeah, you can play him in a whole bunch of places. Um, And yeah, and I don't think he actually played as a left wing back for Lecce. When I saw him at Lecce, he played right winger one game, and then the two other games I saw in a row, he played at left back in a flat back four
At Lecce,
at
at
Lecce.
Lecce.
And because it was Lecce, those two games that I saw, they lost 4-0 consecutively.
Were they? Did they even survive last season?
I think they did just about in the end, but
Uh,
yeah, yeah, touch and go stuff.
Gaza man says, "Get this man out. He's a clown." Very simple but effective there in his analysis. Um, yeah, I totally understand his frustration
Yeah,
because you know, nothing personal against Amarim, but he's just drowning out there and needs to be relieved of
he
his
is
duties.
drowning. But the window in the summer really it was atrocious. We could see it coming. And if we just as mere fans who pay attention to what's going on can see some of these issues, why these people who get paid to do this can't? I will never know.
And there's no point in calling for patience, and he's here for the long term. But you have to be winning football games now.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. You have to marry that with performances and results. It's got to be a mixture. Like, no one expects you to go on a run and just win everything, but and defeats will happen. Of course, they will happen. But it's the manner in which you lose and how we kick on and stuff. And we're not seeing anything that you can really build on. So that's an issue.
yeah, and it's not the defeats; it's the manner of the defeats that
Yeah,
worry me.
yeah.
You know,
And your inability to change it up and try other things.
yeah. Even heard Rennie Mullenstein talking about how Fergie would be willing to it, it, on the training ground.
Yeah.
They would work on multiple formations and
Mhm.
systems,
Mhm.
and they'd be willing to change the formation during games, especially when he's chasing a game.
Mhm.
But Amram is just so wedded to this system from minute naught to minute 90, and he'll bring on two strikers for two centre halves and still find a way of playing the same formation. It's absolutely absurd. There's just no other way of putting it. You know, he's just asking to be sacked, and
Mhm.
he's still there because of goodwill that he has from Barada was the one who wanted him, and
Yeah.
doesn't this remind you of wasn't Ed Woodward's first appointment was Van Hal, and if you think how long that went on, remember how poor it was in that second season, yet he saw out the whole of the season. And that wasn't bad by comparison to this, because he finished fifth and won the FA Cup. I remember how much we complained about the football and the lack of goals and how boring it was and all the rest. But this here is 10 times worse. We are now a team who who's now hovering above the relegation zone. If we hadn't got that win against 10-man Chelsea, we would be probably in the relegation zone right now. We'd be like Glasgow Rangers, way down at the bottom. Had to get that wee dig in there.
uh,
um, but yeah, this cannot continue for much longer. You know, do you see if they come out with an understatement Sunday or Monday saying he's got the full backing of the board? I'm going to tear my hair out. I can't listen to that shite anymore. Yeah, like
I just yeah. If I
it's
hear something like we're gonna suffer one more time, if I hear the word suffer one more time, I'm gonna lose it.
yeah, he says that a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, have we not suffered enough? Like Jesus.
I know you're right. Put us through one season of hell. Now you're putting us through
Yeah,
another.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the
So that's
only
what I mean. That's why I was watching keenly over the summer because I was like, fair enough. Last season was absolutely atrocious. You didn't give us much to believe in, but then I was like, all right, cool. You maybe well, not maybe, you definitely don't have the players for your system, and we have to address that. But then when I'm looking at the business as well, it didn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. You've just caused more problems than not. You know,
yeah,
like we questioned it when the Emblemo thing was dragging on. We questioned it. We're like, do we really need two tens? when we've got Bruno and you've decided to keep Bruno. Like, how's he going to fit into the midfield? He's not going to fit into the midfield. You might as well use him as a 10 then, innit? And use that money on a midfielder maybe or a
There's no point.
goalkeeper.
Yeah, there's no point in having 40 number 10s
Yeah,
and no wing backs
yeah, and no
and no
wing backs. Yeah, no centre half coverage. No, no midfield.
and
No
and
goalkeeper.
a completely unbalanced midfield
Yeah,
where
yeah. Even the goalkeeper thing. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to wait and see how Lemins gets on, but it's a lot of pressure on the young man. This is the kind of signing I would have made in an ideal world. I'd just sent him out on loan. Really, for a club like us, Donnarumma should be our goalkeeper right now. But that's a conversation for a different day, where we no longer operate like a big club.
yeah, I tell you what, he's been brilliant since he came in at Man
Yeah,
City.
of course he has. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, Kyle. He doesn't
Um,
need time to settle. He just come off the back of a treble. 26 years old, got the best years ahead of him, and he's experienced. He's won the lot, and yeah, yeah, and he was on the table for about 25 million, which in today's market is a joke.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
if you factor in his big wages and that, you're still signing one of the best in the world, and it's competitively priced.
Mm. Uh, Ineos are absolutely insistent on not paying fat wages anymore, and
Yeah.
they thought that you know paying a goalkeeper that kind of wage just wasn't worth the money. But
But again, like you have to factor in that Onana was being shipped out, so you save on his wages. So again, it's not like you're paying an extra 300. Like you have to minus Onana's wages. Like there's changes that could have been made that it would have made sense. Like for me,
uh,
it's only an issue if a player is criminally
I know
underperforming and doesn't justify the wages. Like Sancho on 300 is an absolute joke. If you give that to Donnarumma, I personally don't have any issues. He's one of the best in the world, and you pay him competitively what he's worth. That's what he would be earning elsewhere as well.
I know, but we have to move on from this now because
Yeah,
the ship has sailed.
yeah,
Um, Surely, no matter who the manager is against Sunderland, must assume it's going to be Amorim.
mhm,
It's the perfect game to give Le Mans a chance. You're at home, you're playing against a new promoted team, even if they are doing well. If you're
yeah,
not going to start them in a game like that, when are you going to start them?
yeah.
Because there's no League Cup, there's no FA Cup until January.
Hmm.
Bayern is going to make mistakes in every game, so you might as well just throw them in. And yeah, I'm willing. I'm willing. See if Le Mans is making, if he's like a young De Gea, where he's making a bucket load of saves, but he makes the odd mistake here and there. I'm willing to put up with that. You know, the alternative, like Bayendier and Onana, those alternatives are just not acceptable. Um, if if not expecting Lamens to be perfect, but he seems to be a really good shot stopper, and if he's bringing that to the table, makes the odd wee mistake, no, as long as it's not in every game, then I'm willing to put up with that. If I suppose the easiest way to look at it is if he's preventing more goals than he's letting in, then he's better than what we have right now. So just give him a chance. I'm not expecting him to be Donnarumma, right away. I'm going to be fair to the kid, but we can't just persist with this goalkeeper who just doesn't belong at this level. Something has to be done about that. But Amorim is notoriously stubborn about everything, and the more the media are at him about your system and your selections and your substitutions, the more he's just going to stick with what he's doing. He's just going to keep picking the same team, the same formation, because
Yep.
he's really, really stubborn. Now we've complained about managers being stubborn in the past, but this is probably the most stubborn that I've ever come across, certainly at United anyway. So we get on to the absolutely hideous task of doing player
Player
ratings.
ratings.
I'm gonna fly through these because in a defeat like this, very few people are going to come out of this, you know, with any glory whatsoever. So Altair by Deer, yes, he made three. good saves. One was really good, but you could look at him at all three goals as being not good enough. Um, I'm not saying that he should have saved the shot for the first goal, but he should come off his line, close down the angle. Second one gets a hand to it, doesn't keep it out. Um, Third one, it's straight down the middle, and he gets nowhere near it. So it has to be a 3 out of 10 for Bayern. Matthias de Ligt, been our best defender for quite a while now, but he didn't cover himself in glory for that second goal, although there was a lot of people at fault there. So I give him a 5 out of 10. Harry Maguire, probably his worst games for United in a while.
Hmm.
Um, Tried to play offside and it didn't work. Was easily beaten for pace. He was all over the place for the second goal. Couldn't cut out the cross because again he couldn't get there on time. Thiago too quick for him. So was the other attackers. Um, it'd be a 4 for Harry Maguire. Luke Shaw, to the frustration of many fans, I don't understand why he's in the team. Um, has no pace anymore. He's getting dis- destroyed by pacey attackers and wingers. We've seen what Doku did to him in the derby. Um, he had a better game against Chelsea, but again, we played most of the game against 10 men. So it gives him the opportunity to get on the ball and get forward there. But again, just not very good today. So it'll be a 4 for him. Diogo Dallo, as I said, totally abandoned his position again. The second goal, he's supposed to he should be running backwards towards the right back area to try and close down the winger. But instead he runs into the middle. I don't know what he's even thinking there. Why would you do that as a right wing back? And you and yeah, and he was appalling. Both ends of the pitch. And he's just not equipped to be a right wing back. He offers so little in the other half of the pitch. In the offensive half of the pitch, what does he do? What does he bring to the table? Very, very little. And yeah, and defensively, he just doesn't want. He can't be bothered defending. He's not interested in defending. Um, so a 4 for Dallo. Manuel Ugarte, um, very, very limited player, isn't he? Yeah, but I suppose he did okay for United's goal, even though he overhit his pass to Jorgu. I give him a 5. Bruno Fernandes, no way this guy should be playing in midfield too. Not getting the best out of him. Should be playing as a number 10.
Hmm.
Had a really, really poor game. Mm, yeah, he's apart from the Chelsea game, was again the caveat is we're playing against 10 men. He's had a poor season. He missed a penalty, of course, as well. Has to be marked down for that. His second penalty miss in a month. So 4 for Bruno. Patrick Dorgu, as we have mentioned at least on 10 occasions, we mentioned the fact that it's not fair that Tanjiro should be thrust into being United's first choice swing back, especially coming from Lecce. And he is hardworking, he's tenacious, but the quality is lacking there, I'm afraid. His first touch isn't great. His crossing is really poor. So a 4 for Dargu as well. Brahman Bumo, not a great day for him. As you said, his crossing was terrible. Uh, yeah, didn't. I was Yeah, he didn't have a great return to the GTAC. I was hoping that he would do much better than this. Very, very disappointing. So 4 for Brian Bumo. Matthias Cunha, another really poor performance. And I know he's just back from injury and it's his first start since come back from injury, but I really expected a lot more from him. Having said that, he should have had a free kick at the edge of the box in the first half. Somehow that was looked at and wasn't given. But his shooting was terrible, I must say as well. He was scuffing his shot um, straight at the goalkeeper, or else he was scuffing it wide.
I
Just
can't say I'm surprised, Carl. I saw this in his game. People just saw the clusters where he had the good games and a couple of goals in bunches.
yeah, he got like 17 goals last season, but a lot of these came in purple patches and
Yeah,
bunches,
that's what
and
I mean. That's what I mean. That was my concern. It was a big hefty fee for someone who isn't consistent, and really, it's the first season that he's even shown those sort of levels. You know?
mm, so four for him. Uh, Benjamin Sesko got his first goal for United, and I thought he played well overall. Um, looks he's not the finished article, but he looks like he's got more of what you'd want from a traditional number nine, more so than what Holland had. He can win flick-ons as he did for the sending off against Chelsea. Uh, he can hold the ball up, bring others into play. He's got nice feet, and obviously he's a finisher. And I'm glad he's got that monkey off his back and scored his first goal, because I know the Arsenal and Newcastle fans in particular were enjoying the fact that he hadn't scored yet. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Um, Certainly not his fault that we lost that game, and none of the subs really played an awful lot in the game. I noticed that Kobe Manu, a heavy touch from Manu in our attacking third, then led to Brentford's goal. And I bet you the manager will notice that and mark him down for that. Yet there's other players who make mistakes every week and don't get punished. There's a favoritism again is coming in. And what about the manager in pre-season when he said that Luke Shaw was world class? That was always going to come back to haunt him, because Luke Shaw's past his best, and obviously he's going to be. He's now over the age of 30.
Absolutely.
He's over the age of 30, and he's had so many long-term injuries. You know, like this is not Luke Shaw from the Euros final in 2021. This is an aging Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one where I don't even see Luke Shaw as a say a left back or a left wing back anymore. So this version of Luke Shaw is very much just a utility option as a left-sided centre back, where you can preserve his legs and that. And even then, he's not cut out for this standard anymore. It was clear to see when we played Man City. Obviously, Haaland's one of the best strikers in the world, but still, the way he got moved aside, it shows the clear disparity in levels for me, and it's time we moved on from him. The time's been come and gone. To be honest,
Mhm. Yeah, if this was the 24-year-old Luke Shaw, he'd be playing left wing back and he'd be pretty good at it too. But
exactly. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like on paper, we'll be having him as our first choice left wing back, but we can't. We simply can't.
no. So Amorim um, didn't agree with his goalkeeper and his back three and his substitutions, as you said. The first two were like for like, and then the next couple, um, he was bringing on attackers for defenders, yet kept the same formation. Mason mounted left wing back. We saw that at Grimsby, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Um, so Amorim would get a 2 out of 10 from me, and lucky to get it. And it's a case of when rather than if. I know I've said this before, and I have to be honest. You know, I'm not even talking about big clubs here. I'm talking about professional football clubs. No other club on the planet would have put up with the last 10 months and still kept their manager. United are one of the most patient clubs in the world. Managers, they say a manager doesn't get time. Managers do get time at United compared to other clubs. He has got a lot of patience from the board and the fans, and it's not got any better from last season. He is lucky still being a job. Can you imagine how many times he would have been sacked at Real Madrid by now? He would have been sacked about 10 times in the last 10 months.
Absolutely. Do you remember when they got Lopetegui? I think he lasted about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, and Benitez didn't he only last a few months as well? Mm,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm not sure if Benitez was brought in as an interim though, but yeah,
no, he was the
but
permanent manager, I
he
think.
was
Yeah, wasn't he? And
because yeah,
they got rid of him and then brought Zidane back, I think.
yeah.
Um,
Well, there you go.
mm,
Yeah, I remember the Lopetegui one was big because they chased him all summer, and Spain ended up sacking him. I think just before the international
but
tournament
but
because
it's
of
not.
it.
Yeah, but it's not just clubs like Madrid who wouldn't put up with this.
Yeah,
West Ham wouldn't put up with this, and they haven't.
yeah,
They have a better record than us since Amorim took charge, and they have sacked Graham Potter. And it's hard to believe that we were once linked with Graham Potter. Could, uh, could you imagine?
It would be
He
shocking if we're linked with him now because he's a free agent now, isn't he?
uh, but I believe that interest was mostly from Dan Ashworth,
Ashworth,
who
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
who is
I
not
mean, I'll
who's
tell you what, Ashworth is probably at home watching all of this unfold with a
laughing
smile on his face. Yeah,
because Barada overruled him in the appointment of Amarim, and he ruthlessly sacked him as well. One day, which he probably didn't see that coming. After only they chased him for 6 months, and then he lasted 5 months in the job. Chaotic or what? Mm,
yeah, it was absolute insanity. But yeah, these things happen. I think it's just highlighted more at our club than others. I mean, Newcastle then went and got Paul Mitchell, who's like world renowned apparently, and he's since left the job as well. As well.
mm. Newcastle operated the whole summer without a director of football. No wonder it was such a mess for them. But they're still doing better than us. No, are they? Are they doing better than us? I think they have. They've had a poor start to the season, haven't they?
They have had a poor start to the season. I think they might be level on points with us at the moment. Actually, let me check.
We're 1 point ahead of them. That's how poor
Ah,
they are.
there we go.
Good,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
grief.
But yeah, their goal difference is better than ours. Though ours is -4. Theirs is 0.
Mm.
So yeah, they've had one win, 3 draws, and one defeat, whereas we've had three defeats.
Tell you, I'm going to United against Wolves in December. That's going to be a relegation 6 pointer right there.
That's a must-win game. That you laugh, but that's a must-win.
but,
And
but I'm laughing
yeah,
at how
poor Wolves. Yeah, like their chances have finally run out. All the years of selling their best players has finally caught up to them.
I'm laughing at how beating Wolves is now important to us staying up. That's how bad things
Yeah.
have got. I just cannot believe it that's where we are.
hmm
So they're on 0 points with a goal difference of -9. They might be the only club worse than us this season, the way things
mm
are going.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
We find
West Ham,
ourselves in 14th place and on
yeah,
-4 goal difference.
West Ham will definitely get better now under Nuno Espirito Santo, yeah.
Yeah.
So they will overtake us again. Mm, we we just cannot continue. I know the replacement for Amorim isn't an obvious one, but you just cannot continue with this and expect different results.
My thing is, if they do sack him and they go back to a more conventional formation, I'm going to be so annoyed because despite all the issues, then you've got rid of Garnacho and under
Mm,
market value in today's market. And what for?
and we'll have no out and out left winger.
Yeah. Because Cunha is not a proper proper left winger.
No,
So there you go. So yeah, you've just got more problems, haven't you?
could you
You know what's going to
imagine?
end up happening? Bloody Rashford's going to come back.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this out there. Could you? What happens if the new coach comes in and says, "I want Rashford in my team"?
Yeah. And obviously, people are going to talk about those 2 goals against Newcastle the other week in the
Hmm.
Champions League. So yeah, so they're going to say
Yeah,
that he's the answer to our left hand side.
but classic Rashford. 2 days later, he turns
Yeah.
up late for a team meeting and he's dropped for the next game.
Well, yeah. There you go. There you go. The best and worst of Rashford.
Um, so if he continues to behave like that, I'm worried that we're not going to get the 30 million for him. Um, uh, yeah, was up from India is got a new person in the comment there. Uh, Sanchit is a name. So yeah, I'm sure if he's an Ed fan, he'll be desperately disappointed as we are. But you know what? I don't get angry anymore. I'm numb to this now. You know, I just
Yeah, and that's quite telling in itself, isn't it, Carl? That's what this club's done to us.
yeah,
I
where
genuinely
you
don't.
just
I don't go into any game with hope of winning now. It's just. Well, I suppose it's just a prayer, isn't it? Really, like, I'm not confident going into any game. I don't ever look at a game and go, you know what, that's 3 points.
yeah. Even if we played Wolves at Molineux right now, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
confident of us winning. Yeah, I think we'd find some way to mess it up. Um,
Yep.
yeah, you just become. numb to it. Do you know when you come desensitized? I
Hmm.
think that's the right word.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Also, certain things as well, like when I see like the transfer window, and I see clear flaws that aren't getting addressed, and I'm like, well,
Mhm.
what am I really to expect going into the season?
Yeah, but the the smallest of of upsides are that the rumors coming out is that the focus in the next window is going to be all about the midfield. But that's obvious, isn't it? It had to be.
Yeah, it
And the
always did have to be that because I mean, look at the age of the midfield, obviously, and that's not rocket science either. Like anybody could have told you this. Obviously, Bruno's 31. Casemiro's contract's about to run down, and he's going to free up 300 grand a week. And then you got a decision to make on Ugarte. So yeah, obviously it's a big summer for
but
midfield.
but I noticed that they didn't brief the press to say that their another area of focus was going to be wing backs. Still,
Mm-hmm.
they're not prioritizing wing backs. So
Yeah,
that
in a
tells
system.
me
Yeah,
that they're
in a system that focuses on wing backs, make it make sense.
that tells me that they're open to the idea of divorce from Amorim in the system. So if you're not going to give him what he needs, why is he still there? I don't get it. And another thing that was mentioned in the briefing was that they might prioritize a number one goalkeeper. Should you have a number one goalkeeper at all times? You know,
Yeah, yeah. And again, that's yeah, that's imperative. You need to do that, and also you need to probably freshen up the back line as well, because Harry Maguire's not getting any younger. Luke Shaw isn't fit for purpose.
hmm
Heaven is too young, and I know people are going to make comparisons, going, "Oh, but Lenny Euro's young as well," but no, they're at two different spectrums in terms of talent and level.
hmm
So, and that's no plight to Heaven. Heaven's good at what he does, and for his age, but it's just that Euro's out of this world. He's probably top five in his position in his age group
and can't get in the team.
and
And
can't get in the team.
yeah, we do need to sign another centre half. I think even if we go to a back four, I think we still just get one in because I think we should move on from Maguire.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then this is the thing that annoys me as well, because obviously there is value in the market if you look for it. Arsenal managed to pick up a centre half in Mosquera from Valencia. I think he
Mm,
cost about 12, 13 million. Looks a tidy player.
yep.
Milan Skriniar isn't the youngest, but he went to Fenerbahce, I think, again for about the equivalent of about 10, 11 million. There's deals to be done out there if you are willing to look around.
I know you can't just base your whole transfer policy around players who are under the age of 26. You have to be
Yeah,
willing
yeah,
to sign
yeah, yeah,
experience.
yeah. Exactly. It's mix and match. You've got to see the opportunities, and you know.
I just seen United. They're they're about to complete a deal for a 17-year-old Colombian midfielder.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine, but you can't base your whole transfer policy around that. You have to sign experience. You know, Ineos seem completely unwilling to sign players over the age of 26.
And I hope we loan out that young man to aid his development.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, we have beaten Brighton to that signing because if they were interested, then he is a player. Mhm. By the way,
Yeah, that's the hope, isn't it?
Brighton have seemed to have unearthed another striker. He looks really good. Didn't he get 4 goals against Barnsley in the League Cup? What's his name again? Did you see that? Brighton beat Barnsley about 6-0 in the League Cup, and I think a
No,
striker
no,
got
I've been
four
busy
goals.
this week, so I haven't seen any of the midweek stuff. The only thing I saw was Ekatike getting carded for taking his shirt off,
And then
which
sent
is,
off.
well,
Mhm.
yeah, which is why he missed today's game. What a plum!
Uh, Barnsley, yeah, lost 6-0 to Brighton, and Albion striker called Diego Gomez got 4 goals for the Seagulls. So he, I haven't watched the goals. I think it looks like another one of those completely unknown forwards
Yeah,
that Brighton have unearthed.
and he just and good goals as well. Yeah, like his kid's got
Yeah,
something about
yeah,
him.
well taken
Okay,
goals. Yeah.
yeah, I'll have to check that out.
And they won 3-1 today. Again, Chelsea got
Hmm.
another red card. This time it
Yeah,
was
Shalaba.
Chalaba. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, and I saw Wells was on the score sheet with a brace.
Mm, could do with him now, even as a backup striker.
Yeah. Oh, we've said that over the last couple of years, haven't
We
we?
have, yeah.
You know, yeah, if we would have taken him on a free, he could have done the job.
Okay, we shall wrap it up there. If there's any breaking news in terms of the manager, me and Brushy will jump in straight on to talk about it, won't we? So
Absolutely.
if you're watching on YouTube, please smash the like on the video and subscribe to the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or Apple. And thank you to all the people who tune in every week. And thank you for all the retweets and the downloads as well. And we shall see you again next time, Rush.
Yep. Hopefully on a happier note, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I've given up on that now, to be honest. All right, see you later.
Take care.